Sup?
Hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Indie Music Guide to the Universe.
That's what the U stands for in universe. You do what you do. Don't ever give up.
We want to talk about getting your music out there today.
Yeah, today we'll actually go into some more specifics. Last time we just wanted to introduce ourselves. There's a lot that goes into getting your music out there. And the main point we want to make is you need to create a release strategy.
Yeah.
Map everything out, everything.
As much as you possibly can, because generally it won't pop off with just one song and no plan.
We found that what has worked the best for us, and we're by no means famous, but what has given us the most success was making sure that our music was completely finished before we even started on everything else. And as artists, back in the day, we had a hard time holding our music in because we were so excited to share it with everybody. But what we did was we made a whole 10-song album, finished it, that means got it mixed, mastered, and ready to distribute before we even started executing a plan to put it out there.
And we set a date like 6 or 9 months out from like whenever we got our masters back.
So music was all done before we even started doing music videos and trying to get it in front of people. You know, when it comes to finding a mixing engineer or a mastering engineer, there's a way to do it. Kyle did it for us, so he'll explain to you how we got that done.
Basically, I just looked at the albums I was listening to at the time, and I looked at who was mixing them and who was mastering them, and
you try to find like a sound that you would like your music to sound close to, and then you can literally Google each album and say who mastered this, who mixed this,
or a sonic quality that you're lacking in.
There you go.
Like, I needed some help with my bass. I need a lot of help with bass. So I looked and I found someone who had really tight bass on most of the song, like most of the albums he's mastered. So I found Chris Athens, and I really liked the way all of his albums sounded. So we went to him, figured out the price. I think it was like $1,600 for an album to get mastered, and that's like a professional really putting his touch on the album.
It was amazing, and he was even good about. We basically emailed him after he sent us the masters once and said, there's a few things we'd like changed. Can you fix it for us? And he had it back to us within like 2 days.
Yeah, it's very quick.
So it did cost a little bit, but they were like super responsive and did a fantastic job. Kyle does all our mixing, so we didn't have to hire a mixing engineer, but you can do the exact same thing for your album. Just Google it.
Yeah, or you can hire me.
Or hire Kyle. KyleWolfMixing.com. Also finding a graphic designer. A lot of people believe you don't have to hire one or spend a ton of money, and you don't have to. Me and Kyle are not particularly great visual artists, so we did hire a person. We spent like $300 on getting album art done. We liked the way it came out, and I think it was a little better than...
than what we could come up with.
Yeah. So you talk about, after all this is done, set a release date.
Yeah.
A date that you want the album to come out. And then start planning what's going to happen in between right now and when the album comes out.
And think ahead, because it does take time to get your merchandise printed up. It does take time to get your digital distribution set up. We used symphonic distribution for our last album just because they had the ability to set a release date on the album. We used CD Baby before that. They did a great job. I mean, there's not too much difference between all digital distributors.
Most of them only cost $20 to $30 totally. It's not a monthly fee, it's not yearly. You pay, they put your music on basically every digital outlet. Symphonic did everything. TIDAL, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all those. It's cool.
Yeah, we use disc makers for physical CDs. And
they seem to be the cheapest for bulk.
Yeah, and you could like price everything out, every option, and you get like instant feedback on how much everything's going to cost.
So physical copies and digital distribution, you want to get that done sooner than later. You might want to get it done before you even get to everything else at all. Just make sure you have it all set.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is have a release date set and nothing ready for it. What we did and what worked well for us was we planned week by week to have content coming out to build an audience and keep them engaged constantly. You don't want people to forget you, and in the internet age, it's very simple for people to get onto something else while you're not coming up on their Facebook, coming up on their Twitter, their Instagram.
We shot for having 3 things come out a week, Sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't happen, but we shot for 3 times, and we've always had at least one piece of content coming out a week.
For us specifically, what we did for our last album was we put out a music video 2 months before the album came out, another one 1 month before the album came out, another one 2 weeks before the album came out, and then one on the day our album was released.
Yeah. So if people got excited by the music video, they could pick up the album right then. Yeah,
it was cool, and it worked out pretty well for us. For example, our Facebook page has a little over, what do we have? 2,000 and a couple hundred likes, but the thing was, 2 months prior to our album release, we only had 1,000 something. We gained about 1,000 fans in that 2 month span right before our album came out, just by putting out music videos and by putting money behind them to advertise them and put them in front of the right people and the right demographics. So we're going to do another video, showing you how to target the right people.
And before that, we were stuck at 1,000 for like 5 years. So
yeah, so we kind of got it right this time by doing the research. There's a long way to go, and as we learn more, we'd love to share it with you. And like we've been saying, if you have anything that you'd like to share to help us out or something we could mention, please do that. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Besides the music videos, we had freestyles, studio updates, some giveaways, posted a drum cover, and then...
It's really anything that you can think of that will keep people interested and bring entertainment or value about you. It doesn't always have to be music either if you're a musician.
We were thinking about doing a cooking
We didn't end up doing it,
but we didn't get to it. Yeah.
People like to see that you're real. So like, you can post more than just your music. It's totally cool. Like, people like to interact with you. Some of the giveaways that we did, this is awesome. Thanks for calling me. Some of the giveaways that we did were, we had bought our merch already, so we had t-shirts just laying around, and we were selling them at the same time, but also the email list by telling people, we made a video, showed the t-shirt, we're like, we're giving one of these away every week until our album comes out. So for about a month, each week we gave out one t-shirt. All you had to do was go to our website and give us your email. So in the meantime, we're making a fan base, and we're keeping the people interested in us by giving away our cool t-shirt.
Yeah. And we tried to pick it in a cool way that wasn't like boring.
Yeah, keep people actually interested in watching the video. Like one of them, we set up a bunch of red Solo cups and we threw a pong ball at them, and whichever one it landed in had someone's email in it. Pick it out. Oh, Rachel won this week. Just pick a fun way to do it. We have a lot to go through with you, a lot more things, and we've only really touched the surface here so far. In episode 2, we'll talk about expenses, what it costs to put an album out. We'll go in specific. Kyle wrote up a whole list.
Yeah, I posted on Reddit if you want to go look for it. I don't know if that's illegal to say or not.
Nah, we could put a link in the video, I think.
Sending people to Reddit is frowned upon.
You don't send people to Reddit?
No.
This place is wild. Okay. But we will go into specifics in the next video and show you that list and exactly how much we spent on what. That's ads, merch, high quality equipment like cameras, microphones, an interface to record with. It's not the age of the Beatles where you can just be talented and get discovered now. It may happen, but it's very rare. You got to do everything yourself. Thanks to the internet, you can. We've learned a lot from Googling everything.
And listening to a lot of books.
It cost us, what, maybe 10 grand to put our last album out total? And there's 2 of us, so we were lucky enough to be able to split it. In episode 3, we'll talk about writing to blogs, creating controversy or making a story about yourself. We'll help you find blogs that might be interested in posting your music.
Why is it blanking?
It's something about exposure. It looks okay to me, though. In episode 4, we'll talk about creating a fan base and making friends out of the people that are your fans. So, that being said...
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Please drop any questions in the comments.
Oh, yeah, and you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. We'll have links in the info.
Hope it helps.
Peace!